Hey guys, I'm Jacqueline.
And I'm Marcella.
And Chain of Gold is here.
Guys, this is so exciting. We have been waiting so long for this book. It's been a long time coming, and I feel like it's very surreal. It was
so
really
weird.
surreal reading this book. Like, getting it was surreal, obviously, and then reading it was even more surreal because I feel like we've just been waiting so long, and it's been like highly anticipated. So yeah, we're really excited to talk about it.
We're so excited, you guys. Like, if you didn't know, this is the sequel series to the prequel series of the Mortal Instruments. This is from the Infernal Devices. So if you have not read the Shadowhunter books, we highly recommend them.
Yeah, so I definitely think you shouldn't just pick up this book just like,
no,
this you could.
Technically
you can because it's the beginning of a series. But you're gonna be confused because this world is better if you start off like
knowing
from the beginning. Like,
you
know, you wanna start off and like read all of them and then read up to here because it'll be more fun for you because you'll know more about the world, you'll know more about characters.
It's more exciting that way.
Yeah.
Especially if you read the Infernal Devices before reading the series, because this series is the kids of the characters that you'll fall in love with in the Infernal Devices. So it's that. And these are also, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the TV show Shadowhunters. We personally are not fans of that show because we are book people, but those characters, obviously they're very different in the actual Mortal Instruments, but they're the descendants of these characters in a way. So it's cool, like the history of it and the world is it's so huge big. And it's so much fun to read, and there's little like Easter eggs in each series, and it's just, we highly recommend them. And if you have caught up on all of these Shadowhunter books, you want to make sure before going into Chain of Gold that you read a few of the novellas, just because you want to have that like fresh in your head, like some of the history of like the characters and stuff.
Yeah, like, I mean, you don't have to, but it'll be more fun because you'll know the characters a little better before going into it, because there are like a lot of characters in this book. It's a lot. And they're all, I mean, they're all amazing. They're all great. They all have their own personalities. But yeah, it'll be more fun if you know a little bit of like a backstory for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So for that, you definitely want to pick up Midnight Air, Cast Long Shadows, and Every Exquisite Thing. I would say those three are like key because, and Nothing But Shadows too. Those four. Because those deal with the characters.
Yeah, and I feel like it's important information, some of that.
It is, yeah. Especially because, like, especially
with Matthew.
Yeah,
like, it's important information that you kind of would want to know.
Yeah, it's more fun, and it makes the experience that much more exciting when you do pick up Chain of Gold. So yeah, if you haven't read this book, I'm sorry, this is going to be a spoiler discussion.
Yeah.
You have to go pick it up. Go read it. We absolutely love this series, this world that Cassandra Clare has created.
If you have not read any of her books, go pick up
City of Bones or Clockwork Angel.
Yeah, you could start with either one.
We have a video telling you how we recommend that you should start the books.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna jump into some spoilers. So if you have not read Chain of Gold, you're gonna have a great experience. Go read it.
Yeah, don't listening to us talk about it. Go read it.
And then you can come back and then we can talk about all the shit that went down, because wow,
there's a lot. There's a lot to discuss. I feel like after I finished this book, I just sat there. I was like, wow.
I tried to like carry it on for like as long as I could, because now once it's done, it's like I'm not gonna see these guys till next year, and it's so sad. I was like already hooked from the prologue of this book. I love the prologue with Lucy and Jesse because I ship that so hard. Like, I didn't realize how hard I was gonna ship that and be there for that, but like, wow, I am so here for Lucy and Jesse.
It was so cute. It was so cute too, because it was just like innocent, because the whole like backstory is when like she's walking in like the woods and then like he like saves her, and it's really cute.
It's like she hasn't seen the boy for 6 years later, and then he comes back and he is still the same age he was, and they see each other at the ball again. Oh my god, the ball scene.
I love that scene.
Oh my god. So one of the things I love about this book is the time period. I love, you guys know how much we love historical romances, like historical, like that aspect of it's so much fun because it's so like magical and fairy tale. Like, you know, you have your balls, you have like a different
drawing room, like everything's just so
the outfits.
Yeah, the outfits. Especially, I feel like in this book they were not so much like in their Shadowhunter gear, like the whole book. They were more so like in like the dresses, and it was very like time period.
Well, what's really cool about this is after like the Clockwork War from the Infernal Devices, there was a really long period of peace in the Shadowhunter world. So nobody was really like patrolling like they used to be. Nobody was in their gear like 24/7 like they used to be.
Yeah, and it's like they're training and stuff, but at the same time, like there's not real danger, so it's like they're not getting like that like experience with the actual like danger. And that was, I love that scene with Will and Tessa, and he's like telling her that he's basically just like, you know, like
life is not
picnics. Yeah, he's like this is, I'm like worried because the kids are becoming too mundane. They're not like, they're training, but like they're not really like fighting and stuff like that. And she was just kind of like,
there's no war,
Will, it's fine, Will, just every time that they're on like the page, like every time that they come up and I'm reading about Will, and he's just like there, like you had said he was just standing there and you started crying.
Like okay, like on page like 50, so we're at the ball,
and he's
just like standing there, like leaning against the table, and I start bursting into tears. He's not even doing it. He didn't even say anything, and it was just like Will looked at Tessa softly, and I'm like, oh.
I feel like every time it was like, especially when Jem came in, it was like
oh my god.
Of them. There was one point when I think Tessa was, oh my god, there was one point when Will and Jem came in the room and Tessa like looked at them and like, oh gosh.
When I tell you,
I do wish we got a little bit more with them, but I know it's obviously not about them. It's like their kids.
What's really interesting is Cassie had said that when she was writing it, it was like strange for her to have parents because like in most of the time, like a lot of like in the other Shadowhunter books, the parents are not really around like that. So like to have like these stable families was a challenge.
Yeah. Well, especially because like, you know, we've been with like
we love all those characters.
We love them, so it's like
we want to get them
too with like with the kids. But I thought that
she did a great job.
It was I mean, what she did give was great, and it got us very emotional reading.
Very, very, very emotional this book, especially like certain points towards the end we're gonna talk about. But yeah, anyway, the ball scene. I love that scene so much when they're like at the ball and you know there's like the etiquette of like asking like someone to dance and filling out their dance card and like all of those moments. And you guys, James and Cordelia, my ship. I love them so much. But it was so frustrated.
The ball scene when he's dancing with her.
And it's really nice.
And it's so great. Yeah, it's a beautiful moment.
It's really cute. And then Grace
shows up. And that is the beginning of the annoyingness of Grace.
So
that was just like the start of it.
Listen, I was suspicious from that bitch in Midnight Air when she held the blade at towards Magnus and she threatened Magnus. I was like, listen, you're no good, you're crazy. So like
she was off right from the beginning too.
Right from the beginning.
There was something strange about her. Like obviously we know like her backstory. Like she grew up different. Yes. She was very sheltered with Tatiana, like living in that like horrible like secluded house, like away from everybody. She was not like, she didn't grow up like a traditional like Shadowhunter kid training. Like she didn't even know how to fight.
No,
So obviously she was like gonna be weird in that way, like socially awkward, but she was not nice at all. Like
no, and
even when like she had scenes with the other characters, like I think one point Cordelia like tried to be nice to her, like went to her house.
Wasn't nice
and
at all.
No, she was not nice. She was manipulative.
She's okay, even like the beginning, like the relationship that starts to grow with James, like because in the book we do get flashbacks to certain like pivotal moments because these characters have grown up with each other basically. Like a lot of them have really had really important scenes when they were young. So we got like some scenes of like James going over and talking to Grace like through the vines and like through like thorns and stuff. and it was just so like off. Like even like as a child, like even like these like these childish interactions I just felt were very suspicious. And especially there's this scene when, first of all, it was really devastating to hear Will's parents that passed away, and that scene when the three of them are like Will, Jem, and Tessa, the three of them are like crying together,
that
and it's just
my heart apart.
So heartbreaking. But at that scene, James kind of goes off a little bit, and then that's when Tatiana comes in and asks him if he could cut her thorns. Why would she ask that in the evening after knowing that like the Herondales are going through like grief? Like I get it, she doesn't like the Herondales because of like what happened in the Infernal Devices, like with her father and everything, but still I just think that like it was just weird. And Tatiana is crazy enough. Like she's
unstable.
She's unstable. So like I feel like we feel at this point she is behind what Grace was doing to James. Like the fucking bracelet. You guys, this bracelet.
We knew that bracelet was gonna cause problems this whole book. As soon as it was like, as soon as the bracelet got brought up, we knew right away, like, that's why he's being like this. Because it was too much. It was like, it was too much, like, infatuation with her to the point where it was like, it wasn't believable. Like, that he would have, like, those kind of, like, strong feelings for her.
And it was just, like, I highlighted, like, so many moments in my book. Because it was so, there were so many moments where he would just turn like into a different person almost. Like it was
they call it the mask.
The mask.
That's how they referred to it. Cordelia with like and Matthew.
It was so strange. Like there's like at one moment where like his eyes changed, and that reminded me of like Aladdin when like Jafar has like the thing and his eyes like turn.
That part I was like, oh my god, James.
And like then like hearing like what the bracelet says. It says like loyalty binds, and it was just, and how, okay, Grace wasn't like sad, like she missed him, because a summer passes where he doesn't go and visit the manor in Idris. So there's a moment where like they didn't get to see each other, so there's been time apart. And then when they go and they meet each other up again, he's like, he has this like eagerness to go to her, like, oh, Grace is here, like I can't believe she didn't tell me that she was coming here, but hey, that's okay, I'm gonna go be with her anyway, like whatever. So he goes, and then she's like, the bond was weakening, I felt our bond weakening, didn't you? Like we can't be far apart.
That was what was weird too, and it was like, oh, like our bond is like not the same. It was kind of like,
it was very, very like, off. And I was so insulted when he was dancing with Cordelia and he leaves her in the middle of the dance floor, in the middle of a sentence,
because he was like in this trance. He had to go to her because of like the bracelet and like and that connection and how like powerful that was.
I just felt so bad for Cordelia because I love her so much.
Oh my gosh, because she really had like genuine feelings for him, and he was so oblivious to it. He really, really was
such a boy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was so happy though when Matthew came and danced with her and like kind of made her not look like she was just stranded on the dance floor, because at the time, again, what's so interesting about the time period is like things like that were not done. Like that was considered like super rude, and it would be an embarrassment for her and her family. Like it's just like little things are just so serious in this time period.
Oh yeah, because I mean, you do one wrong thing and you can ruin
your
the
whole
girl's
family
reputation, and once she's ruined,
then she's not suitable for marriage.
Exactly, then it's like she's kind of like, that's a problem.
Exactly.
I mean, we'll get to that.
Which is really interesting now, thinking how Matthew went up to Cordelia, knowing at the end of the book where Matthew's feelings are gonna end up supposedly.
I was so confused with all of this, because I thought, oh my gosh, I thought Matthew and Lucy were gonna be a thing.
Well, it seems like Matthew, I feel like, is such a lost person.
He doesn't know what's going on.
He's just so lost, and I felt so bad for him knowing his story from the novella and seeing him in this. Like, Matthew Fairchild is like one of my favorites. Like, I love him so much. He's so funny and he's so witty, and his like the way he idolizes Magnus Bane is like so relatable. I love that scene. It's just so much fun. That was great. But yeah, he's just such a dark character.
He's such a funny character too. So funny. But at the same time, like, you could see those moments where you glimpse into that different part of him where like he's tortured and all of that, and it just pulls at your heart because, you know, it's kind of like this persona.
Yeah, almost. And I think that he reminded me a lot of Will, actually, which was, because like Will also in the Infernal Devices, he had felt like he was like cursed and stuff, and how he would have this like
had that weight
sarcasm, wittiness,
and kind of like cover it up in a way.
Yeah, I just felt, and he would push people away, kind of. I mean, it was
he reminded me of a mix of like Jace and Will.
Yeah.
Which is just like,
oh. I know. I love Matthew, and I, you know, as you're reading it, it's like funny, and you're having so much fun with this character. Like, he's great, and then I think as the book continues to go on, you realize the deeper issues
especially with the drinking. That got really excessive. It started off where it was like subtle and like you didn't really realize it, and then you realize, you know, it's serious. I love that conversation that he has with Magnus about that. That was one of my favorite parts. Like, that was one of my favorite like conversations. We're skipping to the end. I'm so sorry. We're all over the place.
But yeah, no, that was a great conversation. But I think it's really great how Cassie, I love how she does like representation and like diversity and all of that, for sure. But I think it's really important that she's also now talking about like substance abuse. Like, she's talking about alcohol and like the danger of it, and like we see that also with Cordelia, like how the theme is with Matthew also with his excessive drinking, but it's also with Cordelia and her family, and how her dad, like, she's like defending her dad, like the loyalty that she feels towards her father, like, because her dad's like on trial because he doesn't remember anything that happened, where he almost like started like a giant war with like the Downworlders. So, but he doesn't remember anything that happened. So Cordelia is just thinking like, oh my god, my dad's innocent, like he can't be tried, like he can't go away, we need him. It's just hidden the depth of his what he really is. He's not really an alcoholic, and he's not the great father that she envisioned in her mind.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting when we find out that her brother was the one that kind of hid that from her too. Yeah, like he was the one that made sure that she had this different like version of her father in her head to kind of protect her in that way. And I mean, because he's like, Alistair had a long way to go. Was bad, but of course, Cassie with her like amazing writing, and
he got there,
and he ends up getting there towards the end. It's like, you know, we didn't hate him towards the end. He ended up like,
okay, so in the novellas, he is awful. So like, I was like ready not to like this character, like not to really care about him, because I'm like, he's so bad, like how are we gonna do this?
And but then he ended up having so much depth to him, especially with he did come a long way.
He came a long way. I ship him with Thomas. I think him and Thomas are gonna get together, and like, I'm here for that. Like,
and it's gonna be slow too.
It's gonna be a slow burn.
It's slow burn.
Enemies to lovers. Like, there's that scene when they're like in Paris, and they're like walking, and like they were kind of like enemies, and then they came together just because like they kind of like knew each other, like it was more like a familiar face in like a strange city, that kind of thing, and they just ended up talking, and they had like a day together, and it was really cute. And I feel like even in the novellas, Thomas was always thinking that there was more to Alistair than he showed the world. So I feel like I'm ready for that. And the ending with Alistair, when when Matthew just like told him off, and this and this that happened in the novella, like he just like went off because he was like such a bully towards all of them, and then he like leaves like crying. I felt bad for him. But like, it's such a fucked up situation, like what he was doing, but like what he said to Thomas, like about Thomas's family and Matthew's family, but they were kids, and like I just like ship it, so feel bad for him. But I also really liked his relationship with Cordelia. I think that was a really great development. And Charles, listen, I am so disappointed in Charles Fairchild. How is Henry and Charlotte's child, like their son, gonna end up like the biggest douchebag ever?
He's so
selfish. Yeah. Like all he cares about is eventually being
moving on up
consul. Yeah, like he doesn't.
That's literally all he cared about, and that was it.
And like he was so ashamed of who he was. Like he was ashamed of his relationship with Alistair, and Alistair does not deserve that. Like I just feel like there was a lot with Charles that I was just really frustrated with, and I will not be surprised if he dies in the in like the third book maybe or something. Like I feel like I can't see him making it.
I wonder if he's gonna have what kind of like arc he's gonna have towards the end.
I feel like the Fairchild
he's gonna die like a
he's either gonna
like a bad character. You think he's gonna like end up redeeming himself before or do something?
Well, because he's a Fairchild, you have to wonder, like, what line is Clare gonna come from? What line are we gonna go down? So I feel like it's gonna be Matthew.
Yeah.
Because Charles is also, like...
Matthew's not on the family tree.
I don't know, because Charles is also an option.
We can't even look at the family
tree. We can't even look at the stupid family tree. I feel like it's like a separate video where we could just rant about this stupid family tree.
The family tree is not... I don't trust it, because
now I don't trust it. I'm still like looking at it though, but I don't know. I'm very suspicious about the family tree now. So yeah, Matthew not being on the family tree is very frightening, because like what is gonna happen with him? Like I need him to find his happiness, and I feel like yes, he can end up with someone, like he is bisexual, so you know he can have a really great story, like a love story, but I feel like he needs to have self-love before he could get to that point.
I think he will, for sure.
Like, I need him to
he needs to work on a lot of things.
Like, for himself before he can really get there, you know? Like, I feel like...
That's why, like, I really want to see him grow, like, on his own first.
Yeah, like, I don't think he needs a relationship right now. Like, I just want him to be happy, and I want him to get there, because I know he can, and I'm really rooting for him. And, oh my god, the scene with Lucy and him, when Lucy like told off Matthew basically and was like, you're drinking so much, you're gonna get my brother killed.
Oh yeah.
That, I mean, it's not a lie. Like that's, I think, one of the wake-up calls he needed in a way. And I just yeah, again, Magnus is gonna help him. Magnus is gonna be there for him.
Guys, when Magnus came into this book, it was just like I was waiting. I was like, I wanted Magnus, because Magnus is somebody, he's a character who's been in all of the Shadowhunter books because he's Magnus. So seeing him, it's just like, it's so exciting. I'm crying thinking about him coming in. And I love, like, I don't really remember what he said, but I know that he, like, looked at all the kids and it was, like, really emotional.
So, like, he came in when they're taking, like, it's like...
He was kind of like, I don't want to know, like, type thing.
So, like, they had, like, one of, like, the demon boxes. And there was, like, a demon stuck in there. So they're like, well, we had to catch another demon, but we had to let this one out and kill it first. And, like, Magnus comes in and he's like, oh, you know, you're going down the same Harrendale lane, you know, like doing like all destruction, and it was just so funny. He said like a line like that, and Lucy's just like, so am I, like, cause I feel like Lucy is just like, because I feel like James gets like all like the credit of being like the Harrendale or whatever, because he's like the male of the family, I guess, but like Lucy's just like, I'm like just as bad as James, like don't forget about me.
I feel like Lucy was so much like Will too.
She's so much like Will. I feel like James is kind of like a Tessa, maybe. I don't know. I feel like he is very broody as well. I don't know if he just has, like, because his parents are, like, these war heroes, so maybe he feels like, I don't know, he's a little bit more quiet on the shy side and quiet.
Well, I felt like I think that he's deep down, like, his father's Will Harrendale, and I think that he, like, feels like he has to live up to that kind of name.
But Lucy is just so free to be herself, and it's just so fun to read. Like, I feel like Lucy is just like Like, I want to be friends with Lucy. I think she's awesome. Yeah. Like, I would love to be friends with her. She's a great friend to Cordelia, and I'm really excited that they're going to be parabatai, and I'm really excited for them that. To be parabatai. I loved all of their scenes together, and especially her scenes with Jesse. You guys, I love Jesse Blackthorne. We talked about this in the beginning of the video. I just love Jesse Blackthorne, and I'm so curious where his story is going to go. I loved all of his interactions with Lucy.
I feel bad for him though, because he's in that in-between. He's not dead, but he's not alive. He's just kind of there, and it's really, really sad, and I really, really need him to come back to life.
I really need him
I feel like it's gonna happen, but I don't know if he's gonna end up, like, being, like, alive for, like, the long haul.
Biggest, like, concern is now with, like, with Tatiana and, like, these princes of hell and Tessa's father.
Well, because I feel like the whole point is that, like, she's doing all this because she wants her son to live, so, like, why would he? I feel like it's gonna be a thing where it's like, it's not gonna end up working out.
But the thing is, I feel like it's gonna have to at some point, because he's gonna be our Blackthorn line. Like, I feel like...
But do you think he's gonna
like, I feel like him and Lucy will get there. They're gonna be able to get there. So. Because I feel like they are the ancestors of Julian and Ty and Livy and, like, all of our Blackthorns. I just feel like that's our Blackthorn line, because it's not Grace. Like,
Grace isn't even a real Blackthorn anyway.
Yeah, she's not even a real Blackthorn. She's adopted. Yeah. So I just think it has to be Jesse. I just don't know how the hell we're gonna get there. And I'm really nervous because we know that this Tessa's father coming into it, I figured he was gonna be, like, the biggest villain, but I didn't think he's gonna come in book 1. Like, every single thing, like, we're gonna go into that, but, like, all of, like, the fight scenes were just so epic. And yeah, he is terrifying, and he came at the end in the
It was
epilogue.
Crazy to see him though, because we've always heard, like, oh, like, obviously Tessa's father is demon.
Yeah.
But, like, to see him, it's just like, there you are. Terrifying. Like, heard about you a lot. Like,
yeah, really scary. But we know that he wants a body to possess. Mm-hmm. And I am scared that he might try to get with Jesse, because it's like, I am, like, nervous that there's gonna be something with that, like, as, like, his anchor. Like, I feel like Jesse might be his anchor to that world somehow.
Oh, and then they're gonna somehow have to get, like, him out of Jesse.
Yeah, I feel like Lucy is going to have a huge part in it, because I think Lucy is so cool with her ability. Like, I really loved, like finding her ability. Like, there was that insane fight scene when they're, like, at the bridge, and, like, Magnus is helping out, distracting all, like, the mundane.
Oh, I love that.
And then Cordelia, like, falls over the bridge and, like, into the water, and then Lucy is just, like, panicking and crying and yelling.
Jesse shows up.
Jesse shows up. She ended up calling the dead, and all the dead come out with Cordelia, and then Cordelia is, like, fine, but she's able to command the dead.
That's definitely I feel like that's gonna come in handy too.
That's a really cool
Because if you think about it, like, she could make a whole army of dead people. Like,
yeah, like, she can call the dead and command them.
Yeah.
And I am like, can like you and, like, James, like, we'll do something with, like, your abilities together and somehow command Jesse to come back? Like, can we somehow work this out? We could get Jesse back, because Lucy is very determined to help him, which is really nice. Because, oh my god, Jesse, the scene.
Oh, the scene.
I was sobbing when he wears this locket, and it contains his last breath, and he gives his last breath to James. And
the tears during that scene.
I was so upset, because I'm like, how are we gonna make you come back to life now? Like, I was just...
And I don't think James doesn't know how exactly he, like...
He was able to see him when he gave him the breath. He was like, who are you? Or he said something.
Yeah, no, he saw him, but he
saw him. He doesn't know
that Lucy did that. He doesn't know that it was, like, his last breath or whatever.
Yeah, no, he doesn't know.
Only Lucy knows, which she has to let him know.
Oh my god, when Jesse told Lucy that he would give his last breath for her, and then he ends up, like, doing it to, like, James, like, her brother, because he saw, like, how heartbroken she was. And I guess he knows how heartbroken Grace was when he died. So, like, as, like, a sibling, that empathy and sympathy with... he just sacrificed himself. He's a hero. he is Julian Blackthorne's great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, I swear. He has to be related to them. Like, I was just, like, Jesse, I really love him.
I know, me too.
I really love him. I hope he's gonna be okay in the next book because I'm really scared.
The whole thing with James and, like, the Shadow Realm throughout this book, I'm really curious now, though, because I don't think he has that ability anymore, right?
Well, okay, the shadow, I mean, it's always gonna be there, that ability, but
I feel like, yeah,
not,
but I feel like he can't.
Right now it's, like, quiet because they feel like they think that
he's gone.
That he's gone.
When so he's not really
since
gone.
He's gone, the realm should be gone.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel.
I mean, he's obviously going to be pulled back into it fairly quickly, I think, and that's when they're going to realize that, like, obviously.
It kind of reminds me of, like, it kind of reminds me a bit of, like, you know, like in Stranger Things, like the Upside Down.
That's what I was thinking
like,
of.
It kind of reminds me of that, like how you get, like, sucked into, like, this, like, dark world.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the whole thing of, like, the whole
he was
mystery of it and finding out who it really was that belonged there and, like, who his grandfather was. And I think I really need him to have a talk with Tessa and Will James in the next book, and, like, because, I mean, it's Tessa's dad, too, you know, like, I feel like there's gotta be, like, some scene with Tessa involved, like, fighting him or something, like, approaching him or something like that.
Oh, my gosh, we need a confrontation with those two,
so,
we're definitely gonna get that. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I feel like that needs to happen, and, like, I'm excited for that kind of thing to work itself out, because I'm very excited. So, okay. James and Cordelia and Cortana. We know from TDA how powerful Cortana is. That sword can literally cut through anything, as we've seen in TDA. So we know that it's gonna really be an important weapon in this war.
He had mentioned, Tessa's dad, the demon, had mentioned, like, you know,
I didn't know that she had that sword.
Yeah, like she has Cortana, and
she's protecting
James. Like, I can't get near him when she's there with Cortana. So,
meaning that Cortana is probably one of the only weapons that can destroy him.
Yeah, exactly. Cortana is always just, like,
coming through.
Yeah, like, that's so important, that weapon.
I really liked the scene when the little flashback with Cordelia and Alistair, like, deciding who got the sword and how it
shows her.
To her.
It kind of reminded me, like, the wand chooses the wizard.
Yeah.
It just, like, flies
it
there.
Just
or, like, you know, when the lightsaber, like, flies to you and it, like, chooses you.
Yes, like, I felt like it was like that, and then, you know, that kind of foreshadowed the ending of this book when she's able to break through and call Cortana to her. Oh my god, I was, like, cheering during
that scene. Was very intense. I was, like, so nervous.
I was so nervous. I was just so, like, scared of, like, that entire situation, because I'm like, how are they getting out of this? Someone's gonna end up stuck here. I was like, Cordelia's gonna end up stuck here. James is gonna end up stuck. Like, something bad is gonna happen.
Yeah, I was like, they're definitely not both gonna get out of here. I was like, this is not good. I was like, where's Magnus? Is he just gonna show up and save them? I was like, I don't understand what's going on.
Like, Magnus to come in here. But I loved seeing, like, that scene with, first of all, Matthew and James. I really like their dynamic, obviously. I do want more from it, because I feel like Matthew is gonna know. He's gonna be the one to figure out that Grace is manipulating.
I thought that there were so many, like, I was kind of surprised that Matthew didn't, like, notice it completely, because we get that scene when Matthew is in there with James, and then Grace comes in, and Matthew's, like, there, and then all of a sudden, like James really didn't have any intention of, like, getting with her or anything like that, and Matthew knew that. And then all of a sudden it was like
he comes back and
he has, like, the bracelet back on. Like, Matthew, I feel like well, they do notice it though a little bit. Like, they notice that he's different, and they notice that, like, oh, like, it's like a shift, like a change, but they don't put two and two together that it's actually, like,
the bracelet,
literally, like,
it's Grace
controlling him.
Well, I think that's gonna be part of his arc, and I feel like there's also Matthew, the story with the baby, and how the backstory there with Charlotte and Henry and the situation there. I think that he needs to tell James that too. Like, I really feel like those two need to have, like, a heart-to-heart and be there for each other. And stop hiding like these secrets and really lean on that friendship that they have. And so like I want more of that. I loved all their parabatai scenes of them like fighting together, and how back to like the scene when James went through the shadow realm at the end, and how Matthew was like, I have to go with you, like, and he like starts like quoting like their vows during the parabatai ceremony. And I just like I really love that moment, but I need more from that relationship, and I think that's gonna be part of Matthew.
I feel like there's a lot of things that they need to talk about, especially with like Matthew.
Yeah, like especially now with Cordelia being involved. Like I don't know what's gonna happen here. I do feel like they're definitely gonna bump heads a lot, Matthew and James. Yeah,
especially with like Cordelia.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bumpy ride for sure. But I think that they'll obviously make it through because it's parabatai, so I think that they'll be okay. But anyway, back to that scene when she went through the realm, Cordelia, how she was able to take Cortana and literally break through the portal. That's so cool, and she's the only one that's able to go where James is when he's in that realm, which is so interesting. And I just wonder, like, we're obviously gonna get more scenes of that, so like, okay, their relationship, oh my god, it's I ship them so hard, and it's so frustrating because you know that James actually is falling in love with her, and he can't put two and two together because in the back of his head he thinks, but I can't, but Harrendel's only has one.
How nice was it when James took off the bracelet at one point, and then it was like he was so light and like free, and he was right there with Cordelia, and they were just, it was so nice.
The whispering room, when they were in that room.
Oh my god. And it makes me so sad because then she thought that that was like not real, and they were like just pretending so they didn't like it. It was like part of the plan, and that made me so sad because that scene was so hot. And it was so, oh my gosh.
Like, okay, I was expecting like a kiss, but like they were like making out, going to like
hot and heavy, and it was just,
it was good. It was really steamy in there.
Yeah. And then they got interrupted.
Matthew came in, and it kind of was a little awkward for a second, and they're like, oh, you know, we were just,
you know, part of the plan, pretending in case someone came in. It's just like, okay.
Were you though? Were you really? Obviously that connection, that chemistry is there, that desire and the passion with them, and I think it's gonna be really hard the next book, you guys. Like, even though we're in a good place technically it's not the way it should be. Like, okay, so
exactly. Oh gosh. The whole ending, guys.
The ending of this book when
we're having our little meeting.
Alright, so before this meeting happens, Grace comes back, the bitch comes back, and puts the bracelet on.
That scene was so frustrating. I literally was like screeching. Like, I was like, ah!
I'm like so mad. Like, please somebody destroy that stupid bracelet. I was so mad. But
and she basically tells him the whole plan with Tatiana and like what she was planning and all of that, and
which I was kind of annoyed about because I'm like, don't you want Jesse to come back? Like, we kind of got to keep this dark magic shit if we want Jesse to come back. Like, I'm like, so she sends him to destroy the Clockwork Automatron, the last one from the Clockwork War, and what was he destroying is what I want to know. Like, it's a good thing because it's all like the dark magic, but like, what exactly was in there that he was destroying?
I don't know.
That's what I'm scared about.
It was really intense because then Matthew and
Matthew and Cordelia came in the fire.
Matthew and Cordelia came in, and it was like the fire, and they like, oh my gosh, they like followed him in there, and
I mean, I do see a lot of scenes, like there are a lot of scenes with like the three of them, like Matthew, Cordelia, and James, which is very reminiscent Will
and Tessa,
yeah, so I see that she's trying to do lines like that. I don't know if she's gonna do another love triangle though with parabatai and like the girl, because I feel like it's kind of, I don't want to say repetitive.
I don't know, because now all of a sudden Matthew has feelings for Cordelia. It was kind of like, I feel like Matthew is like you said though, he's lost. I don't know if that's going to be like a thing that's
onto anything.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's going to be a thing where it's going to be like a love triangle type thing where it's like a Will Gem situation.
Listen,
from Tessa.
The Infernal Devices is the greatest love triangle.
It's like my only favorite, love triangle that I like.
That's the only...
Where, like, you ship both sides and you want both sides and both sides end up working out.
Yeah.
That is the only situation because, like, love triangles are usually not good, and that's the only exception.
That's literally the only love triangle that has rights. Like, it's the best love triangle ever. And I don't know if we could do another one like that, where, like, I don't think it could.
I'm not sure if she will.
I don't think we can. Like, I don't think it's gonna go anywhere because, like, I just feel like Matthew, again, like, he needs to love himself and be happy first before he can find that relationship. I think that he needs to, you know who I think he needs to spend time with? I think Anna Lightwood needs to hang out with Matthew because I really love the friendship with the two of them. And, like, I feel like Anna is also, like, someone who doesn't really, like, believe in love, kind of. Like, so they're both kind of, like, in this, like, bitter state of romance. So maybe they could, like, bond or something. And I just really love Anna Lightwood. Like, I feel like we haven't mentioned her yet, but she's
awesome.
Fantastic.
She's very, like, modern. Like, her mindset is so, like, not of that world, not of, like, that time period. So it's very interesting to have her in that environment with everybody because it's just so different. Yeah, I do think that she's gonna get more scenes as we go on. Like, I feel like she wasn't as involved with our crew in this book. So I feel like in the next book, like, she probably will be. Yeah, I like her and Cordelia, like, their dynamic. Yeah. I thought that was really good. That she got her all the dresses. Yeah, they had a good friendship. Yeah, no, I really did like. I think she's just such a great character to have because there were people like her during that time, and for her to be that, like, be herself so unapologetically. Yeah, like, that open about it too. Open about knowing that it's not, like, really allowed, not, like, looked upon, like, good. Yeah, exactly. It's really refreshing and just really great to read, and I'm excited to see more of her getting in with our crew. And also her brother Christopher Lightwood, I love him. Yeah, I love him he needs to be protected at all costs. So in the family tree it says that he's gonna marry Grace. I think the family tree's just not right. Yeah, like, I don't see that happening at all. But I was so scared when he was hurt because, like, I feel like the Lightwoods have already been through, like, Thomas just lost Barbara, he lost his sister. Yeah. So, I felt so bad for Thomas in this book. I really did. Like, I just feel like the Lightwoods just can't catch a break right now. Like, when Christopher got hurt, I was so scared because I'm like, oh my god, like, no, we can't, like, lose Christopher now too. Like, I was very nervous, and they end up, like, he ends up injured in that battle scene, and he's working so hard on the antidote. Like, I love how, like, he's so much like Henry, and it's so cool. And oh my god, I love, like, the little like, we know in, like, the future Shadowhunter books, like, it seems like Thomas and Christopher are gonna be the ones who are gonna make, like, fire messaging. Like, they kind of, like, gave that, like, there's, like, a one scene when, like, a message, like, a letter comes in and it's, like, on fire, and, like, Lucy's just like, what the hell is this? And, like, oh, we're working on messaging through fire. And I just feel like that's just really cool because we know that does end up being a way that Shadowhunters can communicate. So yeah, especially because, you know, Henry created portals. So, like, I think it's cool that they're going to create something that's going to be so iconic in the Shadowhunter books. And I really hope that they end up happy and okay. The one scene when they went into the Silent City and Christopher is, like, laying in the bed and he grabs onto James, and that's when James gets, like, infected, and all of, like, the the people that are, like, passed out, like, all of a sudden they all, like, sit up and they start, like, chanting, like, his name. I was like, Jem's just like, get out of here, go! Like, get out, you're in danger, clearly run! Like, yeah, I thought that was really creepy. And yeah, I think that the whole, like, plot of, like, the virus almost, how it was, like, this epidemic with these demons and how they were, like, how, like, the blood was able to transfer to other people and kill other people, and, like, it was a way to knock out, like, a bunch of Shadowhunters. I think it was, like, really interesting and, like, really terrifying and, like, really cool to read. I thought it was, like, the mystery aspect of it. I loved watching, like, all, like, the kids, like, figure it out because they don't have, like, the clave to, like, answer to or anything like that, like the adults do. And
Yeah, I loved how Will and Tessa, like, they're just so worried, and they're very involved in their kids' lives, I will say. Like, they're really good parents. They really are.
Yeah.
And I think, like, they were very suspicious of them, too. Mm-hmm. And I really loved seeing them as parents. Like, I loved the one scene in particular when Lucy has Jesse in her bedroom and Will comes in and was like, I heard you scream, are you okay?
Oh, yeah.
And Jesse's, and like he calls her, like, Will calls her Lulu and Jesse's like, Lulu? Like, it's just like, it's so funny. And then Lucy's like, you're lucky that I didn't tell my dad that you were here because he would have believed me and he would have found a way to kill you even though you're dead already, or something like that. And she has like a really great line. It was just really funny, and I love parent Wessa. It's really great.
It's a lot of emotions.
It's a lot of emotions, and yeah, okay, let's talk about the meeting at the end of the book.
Yeah, oh god, every time that I thought this book was over, it wasn't.
Yeah, yeah, that's
I kept thinking like, okay, like, nothing's gonna happen now. It's getting calm.
It was like
the end of the book,
and
then it was like, whoop.
And then the end,
and I was just like, I was like, shut the book up. I was just like, okay, that just happened.
When they're at the meeting and they're accusing James of burning down Blackthorn Manor, and I think that Grace was gonna stand up, and I think that bitch was gonna rat him out. I think she was literally gonna tell him, like, I will never know now, but I think she was gonna. And because she didn't know what to do. And then Cordelia, like, cuts her off and is like, he was with me all night, and just ruins her entire reputation for James. And guys, for Cordelia to do that, and like her entire story arc in this book was about being able to protect her family and find those connections that'll make her family look okay and be okay and help her down.
For her to
just throw everything away.
It just shows how much she cares about him, and oh gosh.
My heart. I literally was screaming when she just says, I was with James, and everybody's just like, and all their friends are like, and Matthew's just like, oh my god. Yeah. It was just like a shocking moment, and James is just like stunned, like he doesn't even know what to do.
He has to marry him, and it's like, I want to be so excited, but it's like not real. It's like they're like, oh, we'll just do it for like a year, and then, you know, like it'll be fine. And
that year is gonna be, it's really,
so sad though, because it's like Cordelia is thinking like, you know, it's gonna be really happy for her because she obviously has feelings for him, and you know, they're gonna be like living this like life, and he still has the bracelet on too, yeah.
So he's still thinking of Grace, and I was so frustrated and insulted and offended when she says, you don't love me, and he's just like, no, I don't.
Yeah, I know.
And like, it's so annoying because before that, like, he asked her like to come and like read to him because he remembers when she brought the book. When she brought the book, and she's wearing like her favorite dress, and she's got the book with her, and she like, and she has her hair done.
We didn't talk about how when we find out that when James was sick, she came in and she took care of him, and she was reading to him, so that's why, like, she brings the book, and she was gonna read to him, and oh my god.
So that's one of the reasons why that bracelet was put on him, I'm pretty sure. It's not,
I think because Grace was nervous, because he shared that information with Grace. He told her about like when Cordelia was taking care of him, and Grace
was like, oh, you're in love with Cordelia, obviously, like your feelings. And he's like, no, like, he was like 12, 13, like he didn't know what that was yet, and it could have went there like sooner. And it was
Grace was threatened.
Grace, yeah. I mean, I think Cassie did say, like, on her Tumblr that it's not so much like, it's like it is Grace that is like, that does have that power, but the bracelet is on James because that's the only way that she can control him, is because of the bracelet. So that's why she needs to have it on as like a precaution, so that way she's able to.
Somebody needs to take it off of him. I wonder who it's gonna be. It's either gonna be Matthew or Cordelia.
Well,
how funny is it gonna be if it's like Will or like Tessa, like Magnus.
Well, one of the things I really love is that he's gonna have this bracelet, and we know that it was fading before, so I feel like it's gonna start to fade again because he's gonna be married to Cordelia. They're gonna be living together. They're gonna be sharing a room. They're gonna be eating breakfast together. They're gonna be with each other 24/7, living this domestic life. And
I hope the bracelet doesn't get in the way of that.
He even at the engagement party, Grace comes in and she's like, you know, I could just have like a long engagement to Charles, and you could just after you're done with Cordelia, we could just get back together. And he fought her on that. He's fighting it now. So like I really feel, and like he even had moments where he's like, you know, when I think of a life with Cordelia, I think of warm fireplaces and reading and like a blissful life almost. And then at the end of the paragraph, obviously he mentions Grace again, but like you could just sense that struggle is really within him, and it's really prominent. And I feel like their love, like true love's kiss almost. Like I feel like they're gonna be able to conquer the power of the bracelet together.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that their relationship is gonna get deeper and it's gonna get stronger because they're gonna be married. And I just feel like it's gonna get to a different, more intimate level where the bracelet is just like unnecessary. And it kind of reminds me a bit of Jace from City of Lost Souls, when he was under Sebastian's control, and how he was very different. And I don't know, it kind of like reminds me, like that's how different James is when he's on this bracelet. Like it's just
kind of,
I just think that we need to get that off of him, and maybe Cordelia and Matthew.
Yeah.
I loved when like they end up like going in the room to like before he proposes, and then before he like announces that they're engaged, and Will comes in and he's just like, me and your mother are so disappointed. We've raised you better to treat women the right way, and you don't do this. And he's just so angry at him. And then James is like, but we're engaged. And then I love it. And then Will all of a sudden, like once he gets like the okay from Cordelia's mom, then all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, a car stand.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, this is great.
He's like, I can't wait to tell Jem. Like, we're gonna be in-laws. And like, he's just like, you're the only one I would have loved for James. Like, and it's just
they were so happy.
They were so happy about it. And like, Will, and then Tessa's just like, you can't like just base like our new daughter off of her last name. And he's just like, Jem's gonna be happy about this. Like he just, I love that so much. I thought that was such a fun touch. And even like when he's dancing with Cordelia during the engagement party, I feel like there's like this one line that like really like made me like so sad, how like it's in Cordelia's point of view, and she mentions how like everybody is so happy that her and James are going to be together, but if he would have been able to choose freely, he would not have chosen her. Everyone else would have chosen Cordelia for him except him. That's what she feels like, and I just feel so bad for her, and I really need her to feel chosen and like appreciated. And I need a really good grovel.
We need that bracelet off of him. That way
I need like a grovel. I need him to be like, you're the only one. Like I need a lot of that, because I just feel so bad that she feels like she's like a second fiddle for him. Like I just feel so bad for her, and that like that. I need that to go away. Like I need them to like.
We need that to.
I need the grovel scene from that, because I think that James has a lot to make up for. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the third book he proposes again, like the right way.
Yeah.
And it'll make everything go full circle. Like I feel like in the third book he's gonna.
I could see that.
He's gonna say
like,
he's gonna be like, let's renew our vows and do this the right way now, or something like that. I just like they're obviously endgame, like they have to be, like it's just there. And
definitely.
I'm so excited for more of that scenes.
I need the next book like now.
I really do. And it seems like Magnus is going to be more involved in the next book, because he says he's like, maybe I should stick around London more. Because even Magnus, when he was watching Cordelia and James like dancing together, he's like, oh, this is a love match, obviously. Like he sees that they are in love. Yeah. And Magnus, he sees everything. Magnus knows, you know?
Magnus has been around a very long time.
When he finds out that it's not, and it's only going to be a year, all of a sudden Magnus is like, huh, interesting. He's like, maybe I should stay around London and see what's gonna happen with this.
Yeah, Matthew ended up telling him.
Yeah,
he was just like, yeah, Magnus, it's not real. Like, Magnus just might as well know. Yeah. It's not a secret.
Oh my god, all of the scenes with Matthew and Magnus, how he just idolizes him. And I loved even that reference to Midnight Air when he says, he's like, you were so embarrassing, James. Like, he sees you when you're drunk. Like, what's he gonna think of us now?
Yeah. I think that we talked about everything. If we missed anything important to talk about, it's because it's a really big book. But
a lot happens in this book.
Yeah.
We just had to talk about all of, like, our favorite characters and our favorite moments and how much we love this book and how excited we are for next year. When the next one's coming out next year. Long time.
Yeah.
Long wait. You know, this is what happens with the Cassandra Clare book. You read it, you love it, and you finish it in less than a week. And then
I finished it in like a day and a half.
And then this is what happens. And then you're stuck waiting over 360 something days. Like, but it's gonna be really great when it comes out.
Yeah, we're really excited.
Yeah, so let us know what you guys thought about it. Oh my god, we're so excited to talk about it with you all.
Yep, and you can also check out our social media, which is down in the description below.
Thank you for watching.
Bye!